Thank you. Welcome everyone to the Rotary Club of Motorcycling Rotarians meeting, our weekly meeting. I'm so glad to see so many faces here today. I even had a couple surprises, so I'm very excited. Before we start with our speaker, is there any happy bucks or anything along those lines we want to share today? Hi, Keith.
I have a happy couple of happy bucks actually. What's today? Tuesday. So yesterday, I became a great grandfather for the 22nd time.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my goodness. Congratulations.
Okay, winner. That's a good
That's a good one.
wow. 22nd time. Wow.
Cool.
That's awesome, Keith. Congrats.
I'm happy I got well, yesterday I've had both motorcycles tore apart. I don't have the parts back on the new one yet, but I got the other one back together and I had a piece I had to get repainted on that one as well, but I got it back together and went out for a nice long ride. And about half an hour away from the house, I realized I didn't replate that one yet. And so I took the back roads back home, made it safe without the policeman stopping me. And today I got the new plate. So I'm back to riding motorcycles again.
Good.
Congratulations.
The road again.
That is great news. Oh, and I'm trying to dig up our QR code if anybody wants to throw a couple bucks towards our club in honor of these great things today.
Deb, if you don't find it, let me know. I think I still got it on my computer.
Once you
I
set it up on your phone with your Venmo account, it's always there. You just gotta look
Right.
at one of your last pays and just hit it,
Yes.
do it again.
Yes, but once again, I want to get it so that people can see it. Nonetheless, ah, is there anything we need to touch on before we launch into our speaker today? Anything? Anybody have anything that I need to hear about, know about, want to hear about? Our last meeting was really, really great. There are going to be some interesting topics for us to discuss in the future. Um, and I invite everyone. This normally the second meeting of the month will be our assembly. And once again, I invite everyone to attend that. I think it's really important for everyone to remember this is our club. It's not my club. Um, while I am your president, this is all about where we see ourselves going this year and into the future. And so I urge everyone to make sure that they can come to the second meeting in August. So we'll be getting back on track with our board meetings, granted, and kind of come and have an opinion and let us know what you're thinking. So without further ado, Jerry, I will hand this off to you to introduce our speaker.
Righty, we're continuing series because we're looking very heavily at our club and expanding again and bringing in new members and such. And here about a month or so ago, Jim and I were talking, and Jim Gilmore is past district governor of the district as well. He was the membership chair when I was district governor, and we started 4 new clubs that year. And I had helped him, amongst others, start his club. And his club is the Livingston Sunrise Rotary Club is one of the most uh, productive Rotary clubs in our district. And so he's got some insights that I think are wonderful to share. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jim Gilmore.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm going to talk today about something that's counterintuitive, or people don't think about it when they're looking to grow their club and add new members. The first place you need to look, and by the way, as I go through this is pretty much a description of Livingston Sunrise Rotary Club. We just on July 1st celebrated our 21st year, which is hard to believe. Uh, um, but you look inside before you look outside for new members. Your members, who's been to Disney? Raise your hand if you've been to Disney. Costs a ridiculous amount of money, but it doesn't bother you. You're happy. Disney joy is what I call it. It goes beyond satisfaction, but it's joy. So you need to figure out if your members are happy. Beyond that, are they thrilled with the club? And are you proud of your club? What does your club do in the community, in the world? Does it have impact? I'm just going through a number of things here that people you need to think about when you're working with your club. Can you define 3 difference-making things that you've done that makes your club unique and will make it attractive? And do your members know that? Are they part of that? We do a couple things in our club, and we've done them religiously since the beginning. The first is a passion survey. Rotary clubs, you cannot be all things to all people. You don't have enough people to do that, and you're going to run out of time, and you're going to run out of money, and you're going to run out of enthusiasm, and you're going to burn people out. And so what we found is we whittled that down to 3 things. We ask all of our members every 3 years, we do the passion survey, and we ask them to tell us what their passion is. Who is it that they have a passion to help? What causes are they excited about? Our current 3, and 2 of these 3 have been around for, 6, 9 years now. One is youth. We are heavily into youth. We've had youth exchange students here. This next year, we're going to be back down to 1. We had 2 last year. We had 2 years ago. But youth is number 1. Families in crisis is number 2. And families in crisis and youth both include substance abuse issues, are both included in those 2 categories. Our third this year is seniors, and that's a new one that came up from 3 years ago. We're going to be doing the passion survey again in 26. So seniors is relatively new. And then the families in crisis also includes hunger. We've been involved with hunger in the community since the beginning. But the key is you need to know what your members have a passion to do and make sure they do it. Back in the old days, I remember they would say, when you get a new member, you give them something to do, you put them on a committee, and you get them moving and doing something. If the committee is not one that they have a passion for, it becomes work. We had a problem in our beginning. We said, put them on a committee. Well, people used to think that let's put them on the worst committee we can put them on, which at that time was the cemetery cleanup committee. We didn't have a whole lot of people that survived working on that committee. And we don't even have that committee anymore. But that was before we got into passion. So the key is to get those new members involved in something that they are passionate about, that's gonna fulfill them. And if you don't know it, if you don't have it in your club, know what the neighboring clubs are. We know what the passion is for the Howell Club, the Brighton Club, the new club M36, which we started 3 years ago. We know what the Fowlerville Club, all the clubs in Livingston County, we know what their passion is. So we come across somebody who wants to be involved in Rotary, and let's say their passion is disabled and building ramps for handicapped people. We send them right over to Brighton because that's what Brighton does. Brighton builds a dozen of those a year, and that they've got people that have a passion for that. I think it has to do with tools. And the guys like their tools and they like their tool truck, but that's their passion. If you have that passion in our club, you're not going to last very long because we don't do projects and we don't support issues that don't revolve around that. So that's the passion survey. That's one of the things that Jerry's got that he can show you later on what our passion survey, because it's very simple. We just ask people to tell us what your
Jim, do
top
you want
five
me to
are.
share these as you're saying them or no?
Not that one. The next one I do, because
Okay.
that was pretty simple and it can be defined real easily. We ask them very simply, what's your passion? Give us your top five. We get it all together and we take the top three. And so everybody is working and pulling together in their passion. The next one is a satisfaction survey. We do that annually. We need to keep up those little things that come up, the unmentionables that come up that people don't talk about. We need to find out what they are. For instance, in this last satisfaction survey, um, we found out in this last satisfaction survey that we had 3 people who did not understand what our club foundation did. We've got a sizable club foundation because we raise close to $200,000 a year to go toward projects. And so for them not knowing what they did, who was in it, it was a transparency issue, and it's something that we're addressing. You find out some of the things that you really don't care a whole lot about. 3 or 4 people said they didn't care for the breakfast that we serve. By the way, we meet at 7:15 in the morning on Fridays. So you find out little things about that. This is the survey here. It goes on. It's pretty detailed. This was done by the guy that's in charge of the Livingston Educational Services Agency, LESA, and so they know about surveys and how to get them and how to do them. I don't know if Jerry, do you have the results piece? Because that's
No.
more telling than this. Yeah, we did actually. There's 2 results pieces. I gave you the summary, and this is kind of a cool place where you could use AI. Uh, AI went through and laid all these out for us, but we can look at the raw data as well if you want to look and break down individual numbers. But the key to the whole thing, and I can't stress this enough, is satisfaction. And people like the Rotary Club. They like the people. They like the projects. They're excited about it. This does 2 things for you. You have 2 great outcomes: higher retention. Our retention runs less than 10%. Our losses run less than 10% a year, which is tremendous. I don't think we can get down under the number we are. We've got 79 members right now, and with the July 1st change, we lost 5. And most of them we know, one passed away, and the other 4 just didn't fit into what they could do anymore and what they wanted to do. And so they lost interest and they moved on. And that's okay. You get much over 10%, and that's when you start to get worried and you go back to that satisfaction survey and you start to look at, okay, where are we failing here? Why aren't we getting people? But let me tell you the second thing. And the second thing is what we're talking about as far as sustainable growth. The second thing is enthusiasm. It's the enthusiasm to bring their friends and their enthusiasm to bring new acquaintances. Our last 3 members came from the Chamber of Commerce meetings where they happened to be sitting with one of our Rotarians, and they started talking about how they'd like to get more involved in the community. And right away, hey, come and see us on Friday morning and we'll show you what that's about and we'll see if you're interested in that. If you don't have people excited and proud to lay that out for somebody, then that whole conversation is just people nodding their heads and going, oh yeah, I'd like to involve more in the community. That's very good. Nope. We corral them and we bring them on Friday morning. Now, that's the other thing you got to be careful about. And you know this from your meetings, and I'm really talking about really your home clubs if you're an associate here. You know whether you've got a good meeting or not. I've been a district governor. Jerry has. Renee will soon enough. But Jerry can tell you, and I would agree with him, that there's probably less than a dozen clubs in the district where you would take a prospect to that club to a club meeting. They're not exciting. They're boring. They do business at the club meeting. It would be the last place in a lot of cases you take people. We stay away from that. We are an exciting bunch. Everybody who comes to visit us on a Friday morning tells us how exciting and how vibrant and how alive that club is at 7:15 in the morning. In fact, we had a financial services guy who would do his cold calling after the Rotary meeting on Friday morning. He hated cold calling, but he was so pumped up and just kind of excited that he'd come home and do his cold calling. So that's the key. And when you bring this back around, happy people invite their friends, they invite their acquaintances, they're proud of what you do, and they want to share that with other people that they know as a point of pride. What makes a happy member? We talked a little bit about passion, but meaningful work that makes a difference. We use the word impact a lot, whether it's an impact of an individual, impact of a group of people, or the impact on you as a Rotarian that you get that affects your life once you've gone ahead and been involved in that passion or that project. Friendship. And we push friendship and friendship outside of the Rotary Club, outside of Friday morning. We've had a lot of people who become great friends, but are not able to do that unless you learn about each other. And you can't learn about each other in 10 or 15 minutes of open discussion before the meeting starts. So we encourage people we do a social every month, at least one. In August, we're doing a Tigers game. We have a guy who we rent a bus and we'll take 40 people down to the Tigers game, all club members. So we're going to be on the bus for an hour, hopefully just an hour, going down and an hour coming home with each other. Friendliness. And this is friendliness in your meeting. And we just talked a little bit about meetings. We actually call ours a gathering. We try to not to use the word meeting. Why would you want to go to a meeting of a group that you don't belong to? I mean, it sounds boring before you even get to the door. So we call it a gathering. We don't do any work. We get some information out on what's going on with projects, with people, with the district and those kind of things. And then we do happy bucks. And then every week now, we have what's called a member spotlight. We take one of our members and they take 5 to 7 minutes and just talk about themselves. And then we have found out that there's a lot of people who have a lot in common that they had no idea. Walkers, runners, nature people, bicyclists, horse people. I mean, all these things that are going on in people's lives, and we wouldn't have known about it if we hadn't done the member spotlight. And so that gives people an opportunity to get together and do things outside of just Rotary work. And we've got some people who are best friends now that didn't know each other when they came in the door. They're now walking together 3 days a week, or they've joined a bicycling group that does an 8-mile bike ride at 6 o'clock in the morning on 3 days a week. Those types of things, because we found out. Again, the other thing we found in a club of 79 is that you cannot make everybody happy with every social. So if you get out of 79 people, if you get 30 of them, you probably had a pretty successful social because everybody isn't clicking at the same things. Some have kids that they can't bring. We did a top golf type of thing last summer. And so everybody had a great time watching everybody else hit golf balls. And alcohol is usually a big part because they look at us funny if we drink in the morning. So socials usually involve a happy hour somewhere. I'm trying to think what some of the recent ones we've done. They're escaping me right now. This month has to do with the Fowlerville Fair, which is this week, in fact. And what's social for this month is there's something it's a fundraiser, and it's called Meat Card Bingo. Has anybody ever played Meat Card Bingo? Well, apparently it's a 4-H thing, and it's like bingo. I'm going to find out Thursday night because I'm going to meet card bingo. And when you get a bingo, I guess instead of giving you money, they give you meat. So we'll find out.
At the end, Jim, or shall we ask questions while we're going along?
Go ahead and ask questions because yeah.
I was wondering about your social. Do you have a social committee, or do you just have scathingly brilliant ideas that happen at your gatherings?
Both. We have a group that's called Team Give a Hoot.
Okay.
They're responsible for a lot of the care and feeding, birthday cards, anniversary cards, making sure that cards get around for people in the hospital. Somebody has a loss in the family. They're involved in that. But then they also take in ideas. In fact, after the meeting this Friday, Team Give a Hoot is going to have a 15-minute meeting afterward, and just going to be a brainstorming session. And they're gearing things toward what can we do at our meetings. We've got a unique situation this year. Our president-elect had triple bypass surgery about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he is a very, very busy young man. So he's got his work that he has to work back into. And so he has told us that he wasn't going to be able to be our president after all. So our president from last year is going to serve a second term, but only as administrative president. She's going to run the board meetings. She's going to keep track of the strategic plan, which fortunately we're in our 5th year, so we don't have to worry about that for another year. But we're going to have all the past presidents that are actually going to run the gatherings. And again, that gives us the opportunity because the first thing that past president will do is they'll do a member spotlight of their own. We had the man who was the 4th and the 5th president, Wayne Perry. He was the host last week. We're calling the past presidents the hosts. And so he was the host last week. People didn't know what happened during Wayne Perry's tenure. And they didn't know that when Wayne Perry was president, we started our biggest fundraiser, which is now our biggest fundraiser, Midnight in the Tropics. And they didn't know that we started that fundraiser because we made a commitment to a Rotarian in Warren to help for $3,000 for a hospital in Puerto Rico. No, Costa Rica. And we made that commitment, and then the board got together and said, hey, we don't have $3,000. And that's how the first Midnight in the Tropics started. Now we in the last 5 years, we've averaged about $165,000 each year with Midnight in the Tropics, and that's what it's grown to. But the people who have just joined the club in the last 10 years really didn't know that history. And so now they do, and now it means more to them. And they know Wayne Perry as well. The other thing that we did, we started it last year, was the board members each took a month to plan a social. And so one of them, we did a barbecue at the sheriff's garage. The county sheriff is in our club. So we did it in the sheriff's garage. The sheriff's garage has this cool, have you ever watched any of the SWAT shows? They've got a SWAT Black Betty, big old truck. And so we got to, hang around that thing and see what's going on in there, and played some cornhole because there's a whole lot of room in there. So it's just things like that, Renee. It's we told them we want them varied. We don't want to try to do something that everybody's gonna like, because you can't do that. And it's worked out real well. I wanted to talk a little bit of, yeah. Do you have something else?
No,
Oh.
just thank you.
The other thing, and this is, I think, more of a problem in clubs that not your motorcycling club, but it's the value proposition. We hear all the time from people making excuses to say that Rotary is too expensive. It's value. It's a value proposition. It's cost versus value. And if you're not bringing value to it, then you've got a problem. We looked at it from the standpoint of, if you just want to do service work, Habitat for Humanity will let you volunteer and they won't charge you a dime. Cleaners Food Bank will let you volunteer. They won't charge you a dime. We charge money to belong to Rotary. So we have the responsibility to bring value to that. And the way you bring value is with the friendships that are formed, with the passion that you have that's fulfilled in what you do. You have to be able to be transparent. We operate we have a club foundation, so it's easy for us with the separations of money. But if you don't have a club foundation, you've got to be very careful about making sure that your money is separated between what you've raised in the community that's going toward projects, and what you're charging to just operate the club. So paying for your meals. We give stipends to people to go to district seminars. We give stipends for district conference. We give stipends for international convention. They're not huge because they always get divided by how many people are going, but they're in the budget and they're there. And we do all that with our club dues. And we could do more. We've got right now our club rainy day fund is $32,000, I think, from the meeting I was at last week. And so we're looking to do more with that, where we help ourselves with that money, because we raise money in the community for the foundation, which is where we fund our projects. We've looked at different membership categories. We did corporate for a while. We offered corporate. I didn't like corporate. Corporate did not pan out for us. We don't believe that there's a commitment when you have a corporate membership. They send two people that might be interested or might not be interested in what you're doing. What we preferred was what we called a shared membership, where we reduce the dues for the second person in that company. So if we've got two people from the same company, let's say two partners, the one pays full dues, the second one pays a 50% dues. We do that with married couples as well. One pays a full amount, second one pays a shared amount, but it still keeps that individual commitment and to what we're doing here. So we did away with corporate. The other one we have is what we call associate, and that's about a 40% discount, and it's for members under 40 years old. Some of the toughest discussions we've had was people that are turning 41, and now their dues have gone up. But that's a way that we try to recognize that people that are early in their careers maybe don't have the money to join Rotary. And so We don't have any problem with that. We do satellite clubs. We've done well, we started one club in Heartland. We had a satellite club down in Pinckney. The satellite club moved to charter 3 years ago, just about a year as a satellite. We're about to launch another satellite that's going to be either a Rotaract or Rotary. We haven't decided yet, but it's going to be for disabled people. And I've got to get better up on the terminology. Special abilities, I think, is what one of the people call it. But we've got community mental health involved. She's in our club. We've got a local restaurant that also trains people with disabilities for work in the restaurant industry, and they just recently became certified. She's in our club. And so, and Catholic Charities in Livingston County has an outlet for adult people with disabilities that gather. And what we found in working with a lot of these folks is that they don't want to be served. They want to serve. And there's never been an outlet for them to do that. And so we're going to provide that outlet. And like I said, we're looking at the intricacies of it now. Do we want to call it Rotaract, or do we want to call it a Rotary Club? You know, how do we want to structure the dues to bring them in? And is this something that we want to keep, might want to keep as a satellite, or is it something that we think will go to full fruition as a Rotary Club? So it's those kind of things that are keeping us going. Is anybody here familiar with Simon Sinek?
Very familiar. Yep. You gotta
I don't
start
know
with
why.
why, Jim.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, the
That's
person.
it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Simon Sinek, sell the why. And we do that, you know, in our Rotary Club. We sell the why. Nobody wants to hear that there's 1.2 million Rotarians in the world. You know, nobody wants to hear how much money we got or those type of things. They want to know why we do what we do. And why would you want to come join us in doing what we do? And so if you have the opportunity to look at Simon Sinek's stuff, he started out as a big corporate guy, but man, so much of his stuff is geared for nonprofits. But the why, I mean, the impact that you have on individuals, the difference making that you make in the community, the projects that you're involved with, and the stories. Being able to tell the story of how working on this project not only had impact on the person or the group of people, but it also had an impact on you in your life. So that's a big thing. Now, there's one last thing that we do, and that is what I call the care and feeding of new members. We've got a mentoring program, and Jerry, maybe you can throw this up on the screen, and we'll go through it a little bit. We assign a Rotary mentor to every new member, and it's not necessarily, in fact, it's very rarely their sponsor. And by doing that, now we have two people with the responsibility to help that Rotarian get adjusted. If you're bringing them into a business, you know, find out where the coffee machine is and where the bathroom is. Well, you know, we want to be able to tell them, how do these people up in the front of the room get elected or selected? What happens at a board meeting? What is an EREY or a RILA, or all the acronyms that are used in Rotary? We have a whole list of them, and they're adding more. But what we do is we try to match them up either by their passion or by their extracurricular other activities. What do they do We just matched somebody up with a mentor the other day. They were both horse people. They both loved riding horses, so it was a perfect match to be their mentor. But they're a teacher, they're a resource. So now you've got two people that new Rotarian can go to if they've got any questions. And we take it right up to, Jerry, if you could throw the worksheet up there, give them an idea of how what we do. There we go. We start out, with the Rotary Basics, which used to be a book. Now, I don't know if you'll all realize this, how long you've been in there, but you can get that all in the Learning Center now. So it's all online. We ask them to create an account both in the RI website and in Club Runner. So we get that going and we get them familiar with then what I call the breadth of Rotary, how big this organization is that they've joined. And then on the club level with Club Runner, with that. First 6 months, we asked them to make sure they come to, we're bringing back the orientation gatherings. We had gotten away from that. We weren't doing that as part of the mentorship program. We had 4 people in our last survey that all said, whatever happened to the new member orientation? And so we're going to plug that back in on a quarterly basis, do some kind of an activity that involves the Rotarian, their family, their kids, whatever, but get them all so we get to know them a little bit better and we can answer those questions that nobody wants to raise their hand and ask during a club gathering. We try to get them involved in projects in the first 6 months. And again, this is their mentor that's guiding them into that. What are you interested in? Are you interested in being a mentor with Reaching Higher, which is a youth program that we're involved in heavily in the county? Are you interested in packing boxes at the food bank? Are you interested in working with seniors? At the various senior centers that we might have a volunteer group going. So we try to get that all done in the first 6 months. We tell them, hey, let's get you involved with getting in line to do the member spotlight. So we have to mix in some of us old farts that have been around and people don't know who we are with new people that are just coming in. And so we can make sure that we know and we can match up people and more people to what their likes are and et cetera. We ask them to be a greeter and we put them with an experienced member. Sometimes it's a sponsor or a mentor, but it's an experienced mentor. And now, this year we have gone to the fines and happy dollars. We're asking the greeters to fill that role in the meeting. So now they've got some extra opportunities to do that as well. You down a little bit more, Jerry, then we get into the heavy stuff. Rotary Magazine, that's all online now. Yeah, we want to make sure that they're familiar with the opportunities for the Rotary Fellowships, the Friendship Exchange. We want to get them familiar with what the foundation does. We do that a couple of ways, not just in here, but also in making sure that everybody knows when we have a district funded project, that they understand that we raised so much money to get this project, and then the district chimed in with some more. We've not led any global grants yet. I don't know if that's by design. We've been involved with several. Get them to a convention. And again, district conferences and conventions, we help them with stipend. Depending on how many people are going to the conference, we can contribute to that. When we have training things in the district, those things that cost $20, $25 just for your meals or whatever, we pick that up for them, so that they don't have that hassle, because we've got the money for that. And we try to get them involved in RILA and youth exchange, because that's what we love. We love youth. Like I said, this coming year, 26, 25, 26, will be the first time in several years that we will only have one youth exchange student. And that's key. If you're a club that has a passion for youth, get a youth exchange kid. Yeah, your life will be changed. Their life will be changed. And it's key.
Hey, Jim, we're all ears on how you think we could be involved with youth exchange, with everybody being, I think we've got 4 in this group who are rebounds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, we've been batting around that idea since inception of this program. Jerry and I are definitely, who else? I think there's a couple more, Jerry, but ways that we might be able to be involved. I am down for you guys sending me all of your exchange students, and they can do a weekend exchange or a 3-day exchange in DC, and I'll show them everything.
Oh,
Some
wow.
kind of
Okay,
some kind
I'll
of like a
chaperone that. Yeah.
yeah, right. So that just I that's my passion. That's on mine, right? That's definitely my passion, and that's why I do this. I wouldn't. What'd you say earlier, Chris? Like how I got where I am, the higgy wiggy. That's how I got where I am, right? So I know you guys are really big in the exchange. I was up for RILA this year and met all of your inbounds and outbounds from Livingston Sunrise and the area. So I'll just throw that out
We
there that Amanda wants to be involved. I know that I will force I think everybody else would be like to be involved too. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you've got Chris Jones who lives in North Carolina. Steve Hardy is out in Virginia west of me. Keith lives down at the beach in Virginia Beach. I'm in the DC area. Deb's in Houston, right? So we're all over the place. So if you wanted to throw an exchange student to somebody and let them go see other parts of the states and Canada, frankly, if borders aren't a problem, right? We could do that.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure Jerry's already told you how many different sheep farmers there are.
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorite stories is the old classification system and how they got around that in Australia back in the 70s, where almost everybody was a sheep farmer. That's really all I have. It's been an amazing 21 years, and when you bring in people that are all pulling in the same direction, um, you just sit back and you watch it. Now, I don't completely sit back. I'm involved with the mentoring program right now, and I'm also the chair, or the recently appointed chair, of the Livingston Sunrise Rotary Club Foundation. So I can't get out and do the physical things as much as I used to. So I get to sit in the background and just marvel at what this has become, with what, 23 people, Jerry, 21 years ago. Um, 14 Rotarians from Howell and Brighton and Fowlerville, and 9 people that were new to Rotary.
I remember the very first meeting. It was just you and me at breakfast, and you said, "I have this idea for a new club," and then you immediately, shortly after that, got worried about the politics of it, and then
Yep.
you know,
Well,
a
we
little
got
help
around that
wouldn't let go,
because,
and
yeah.
then away it went.
Yeah, Howell and Brighton had always been kind of territorial. And so what I did is I was a former president of the Brighton Club. I went to both clubs and asked them to co-sponsor Livingston Sunrise. They still had some disgruntled people in their clubs, but they didn't last, and most of them are dead now. So off we go. But yeah,
So
we
Jim,
grew. Yeah.
I was going to say, so actually, I think Renee and I might have talked about this when I was up for Pels. We're not calling it pets anymore. Pels
Mm-hmm.
is, as we know, there are quite a few people in Michigan who don't spend winters in Michigan, right? So how many people do you lose from your clubs in your areas for a period of time. And anytime somebody steps away for even a couple weeks, a few weeks, that's a risk that they're not going to come back, right? So if we can be that soft landing for anybody who's doing the snowbird thing, if you're not doing virtual meetings, right? We can do that. We can welcome them, and we would welcome them with open arms. They could become, honestly, they could be guests, or they could also become associate members. We have that as an option as well. We have full members and associate members who are members at brick and mortar clubs elsewhere. So I try to say that every time we've got somebody on from another district, right? If you have members who are either at risk of walking away because it's just too much to get to a meeting in person because life gets in the way, or you've got members who are traveling a lot either for work or they're traveling, seasonally, we'd love to welcome them. And that's part of the reason I think that we decided to go back to a weekly meeting, right? So that it's a set every week. We're meeting at the same time. There's no question about whether there's going to be a meeting this week.
Yep. I think we probably got less than 5 that are technically snowbirds.
Yep.
And they're all pretty excited to get back.
Yeah, we will gladly give them
Yeah.
back, right? We'll gladly give them back when they go back. I just want to make sure that everybody up there is aware
Yeah.
that this is another option while you're away. If you want to call into a meeting, hear a cool speaker, somebody talking about, I don't know, I'm trying to think like what's the coolest speaker? Jim Gilmore is the coolest speaker we have ever had, but second coolest speaker might have been the guy from Germany who was riding all over the world. That was pretty cool.
One of the things that my home club did with the pandemic, they went online and they never stopped it. So we have our weekly meetings Friday morning, but they also do it online. So being a snowbird, it's great that when I go to Florida for the winter, I can still attend my meetings every week.
We did that for a little bit because we went completely virtual during the pandemic. Just Zoom. When we came back, we came back to a new location, the LESA, which has an absolute superb technology. And that's the problem with the hybrid meetings is technology. If you don't have good technology, it flops on both ends. The people get frustrated that are there. The people online, they can't hear because they don't have the microphone, on and all that kind of stuff. When we came back from the pandemic, we went for almost a year doing hybrid. And then we got down to just 2 or 3 people coming on, and they admit that they were just lazy. They didn't come back. And so we finally killed it and went back to just the in-person meeting. But we were fortunate in that you can't run a hybrid meeting unless you've got good technology. Otherwise, it becomes about the bad technology and not about Rotary.
That would be the reason I am not hosting my all-day meeting tomorrow online. I've forced everybody to come to the office. I'm that guy. Yeah.
Any other questions? Well,
If I may, since we have a
Absolutely.
unique situation here with the motorcycle Rotarians, I mean, it does pose some unique challenges. So, other than asking our best friend to join the club, do you have any other scathingly brilliant ideas, Jim, on how the membership could be increased?
well, I was really kind of surprised that it was down to as few as it is, because I remember when you guys first got started. I mean, you were getting people out of that motorcycling group, and gosh, it made all kind of sense. So I would ask, what happened?
COVID. Funny enough, COVID happened, and I think a lot of people were online all day long, and the last thing they wanted to do was hop on another meeting.
Oh, okay,
We lost quite a few people during that time.
that makes sense. Are you still doing project? I mean, I know
We've
who is it?
we've not
The
actually
airplane people. They all get together at the international convention. So do you still do that?
There's the confusion. The airplane people, they're the fellowship that get together like
Right.
that. Yeah. And we still try to do that. We had some adjustments that happened this last time that we did not do that at the international convention, but we are planning that actually over the next 3 conventions. So
Yeah. So there's that. And then also, I mean, for our club, we have tried and we need to get back to it. And Deb and I are co-presidenting this year and Jerry's involved as well. So for the next 3 years, we're actually 4, right? We got
Tight at the hip.
4, yeah. So but the purpose of that is like let's truly put some thought into out years and how we can start planning, like Jerry was saying, like how can we get everybody to convention? How can we get everybody to go on a ride in Texas? How can we get everybody and in the interim time, how can we start doing more hyper local stuff? So, you know, those of us, me, Steve, John Cram, Keith Lindgren when he's in Virginia Beach, like we could all do something fairly locally. We could get together and like have everybody do those. So that's one of the things that we've been really noodling through is try to do those things that do increase engagement and do increase visibility when we're out and about, right? If we're all wearing our Rotarian motorcycling Rotarians shirts, there we go. You know, people start asking questions. So we're in a rebuilding phase like the Red Wings, but it's not going to take nearly as long.
Yeah. So I happen to note I don't ride, but I appreciate it. But I happen to notice in my area there had to be 4 or 5 different motorcycle places just in my area. You know, we've got the Harley place, we've got all kinds of places, and I'm wondering if we could maybe put together a service project or whatever and either bring them in as sponsors or you know generate some excitement on a local basis. I know the Harley place always has a Toys for Tots. I think they have a heart for service and perhaps they just need a Rotarian to facilitate that service project.
I do a lot of that down here in Houston, and I'm really, really involved. Actually, this next year, my big involvement will be with the PTSD Foundation, and there's a whole thing with that, and I'll get into that in the future. But I try and make sure that when I'm out and about, it does amaze me that I'll go to something and I'll have on a Rotarian shirt or something along those lines, and people will stop and talk to me. And I get invited to events, and you know, so it's a very grassroots effort, but it's an effort that has to be made across the board. One of the things that I found so interesting when I was at Pell's this year was how many people came to me and said, "Oh my goodness, you know, we've got the town we're from, we have this big motorcycling event every year. Great. You know, if you could put me in touch with somebody there, you know, it's what you find out is that people, even within our Rotary universe, don't really realize that we're here and that we're just one more potential group to tap into. So yeah, it's complicated, I think.
Well,
And that's kind of why
it's
I wanted to
really
come back to
it's pretty
Michigan.
simple actually. I mean, but Deb, that's a great idea. So I don't ride a bike, but I drive a hearse. And so my son does a car show, and I was out in Hell a
Hell,
while
yeah,
ago, which is, you know, probably not that far from Jim. And we
yeah.
were at in Hell, and there was a bunch of motorcycling people there at the local bar. There's only a bar and a post office and an ice cream shop in Hell, Michigan. But maybe we could connect with them. That could be great fun. Jerry, you're gonna have to ride me out there on your bike.
there you go.
There's so much opportunity out there, and it's just kind of uh getting it to connect. And yeah, a great, you know, a great point is we're trying to work a little harder with IFMR, which is our fellowship here in the
Right?
US, and even get those people to even, you know, visit one of our meetings. That would be great. You know, just putting ourselves out there more. And yeah.
Well, and even, I don't know if it's a stereotype, but it's certainly around here. It seems like, hardcore motorcyclists have a passion for veterans
Oh,
and
yes,
first
yes,
Absolutely.
responders.
yes.
And so can you figure out a project that would fit into those categories so that you can attract people, at least get them familiar with Rotary?
Absolutely. And I've got a new program for that. When Deb mentioned post-traumatic stress syndrome, I immediately thought of the Rotary program called Music Men's Minds. It's really big on the West Coast right now, and they are working with folks who not only have post-traumatic stress syndrome, but also folks that have Alzheimer's, dementia, and we partnered with the Rotary Action Group for Alzheimer's and Dementia, which is ADRAG, and we worked the booth for the International Fellowship of Musicians. We had people at that booth all the time, and there was music, and they were singing, and people were literally crying in the aisles. We were right down the hall, right down the aisle from you, Jerry. Did you notice?
Mm-hmm. They were
Yeah.
making too much noise.
We're see, okay. So maybe if
We
we
had
did
people all
a
the time
thing,
at the motorcycle booth too, though.
yeah,
Yeah, we had a
maybe if
lot of
we
fun.
did a thing for post-traumatic stress syndrome, that might be the connection that Jim was talking about.
Um,
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of great ideas, and hopefully everybody that was here today will kind of think about all of these great things and bring them to our next board meeting in August, because I think we would love to hear it. I would love to thank Jim for attending this evening and bringing a lot of great information. I got to tell you, our last two meetings have been like this, where I go away and I think about this, and it's generating conversation, and I think that's really super important to our future as a club, and getting everyone engaged in uh, just being part of it, just being part of our growth. So thank you so much, Jim.
You're
can I?
welcome. I love talking about my Rotary Club, and that's really what this is about. The things we've learned over the last 21 years.
Well done. Is
Oh,
there a way that I could get copies of the materials that Jim shared through Jerry?
I'm going to email them out to the
Thank you.
people there
Okay,
that
I'd
were. I
appreciate
mean,
that.
I'll email them out to the invite list.
Thank you.
Hey, I
And
just want to
excellent.
make a comment before we close, Deb. The upcoming meetings. Now, next week's our happy hour.
Oh, geez,
Generally
I thought it was
show
today.
up with a drink and be planned to introduce it, and those are so much fun. Okay. Then in August we're going to, we've had a couple of meetings. We've been over the last several months redesigning our club, including coming to back into the four meetings a month, as well as Tuesdays and some of the things that we've been kicking around. And now we're as I understand, we're going to consider a name change to our club, and we're going to kick in some ideas. So August is the first meeting of the month. We will be doing that club assembly. We will also have at least one new member proposal to review and vote on in that meeting. Uh, and then in the second week of August, oh man, do we have a special guest, Michael McGovern. I've known Michael for about 20 years. He has been the head of all of Polio Plus since 2014, I think. He's told me that this is probably going to be his last year for that, but he is a great guy to sit down and talk with, and he's going to come and give us his update on polio and update on Michael and the whole bit, and I think you'll really enjoy that meeting. Then we have a motorcycling author who is an author for Cycle World, I think it is, on August 19th. And he's going to talk to us about flying, not motorcycles. Okay. He and his wife bought a small plane, refurbished it, and traveled all through North America on that. And he's got a book coming out at the end of August And so we've got this known author that's going to be here. So we've got some fun, some motorcycles, and some great Rotary stuff coming up for August.
Fantastic. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Jerry. All right, do I have a victim to lead us out with the four-way test? Anybody?
I'll do
Who
it.
wants to jump into this?
I'll do
Okay,
it.
Amanda, you're up.
A four-way test of the things we think, do, or say. Think, do, and say. I do it wrong every time. First, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second,
Is it
Is
it
it
fair
is it
to all
fair to all
concerned?
concerned?
Third,
Will
Will
it
it
build
Will it
goodwill?
build
goodwill and
goodwill
better
and better
friendship?
friendships?
Fourth,
Will it be
Will it be
beneficial
beneficial
to
to
all
all
concerned?
concerned?
And
Fifth,
fifth,
will it be
Will it
will
fun?
it be fun?
Damn right.
And sixth, will anybody find out about it?
I was gonna say, will we get caught?
Will it get caught? There you go.
If I can
Got a
give you
plan. Well-
one extra thing here.
What's
When,
that?
Oh, please.
Well, after the pandemic, we kind of switched the four-way test to the things we think, say, do, post, or tweet.
That's
Okay, very good.
Very,
Bravo.
very good.
I kind of tack on when I talk to my kids, you know, the four-way test is a way of being in our house, but also it's the test of, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said by me right now? Those are the things we need to, yeah.
And will it show up in a Coldplay? Yes, I had
Oh,
to go
that's
there.
great. I'm going to leave you at that point. So it was great to
There you
see all
go.
of
There
you.
you go.
Thank you for
Oops, I
allowing
did
me
stop
to
the
attend
record.
tonight.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It was
Thank you,
very nice,
everybody.
very
Have a
nice to
good
Have
meet
a
you.
have a good week, everyone.
You
Thanks,
too.